do that.
How did you get by the laser field in the Great Hall?
Aha. The laser fields. Well...
Oh, yes, you're live talking to me. Hello. Oh, God, man, I'm getting so many problems. Okay, I think I got the camera working now. Oh, did you? Okay, give me one moment, please. I'm just going to mute the microphone for a sec. Oh, what news? What news? Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Sorry about the stream things. The camera thing, maybe I've got it figured out. I don't know. Whatever. We'll try. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing? Steve phoned with some what news. But, yeah, we won't get into any of that. Now, is the microphone working? Microphone working. Man. 12 degrees. Bellhop's rapid trash trailer. Winnipeg. Hey, Linda, Al, Sister C, G. Good news. There's my man hitters. Linda, Country Dixie. Right on. Right on. Aussie. Okay. So the have I got sound here? I got sound. Let me check. Give me a whatever it is, a number one or what do you do? If the sound is good. I swear, you know. Here we go. Sounds good. Okay, good. Awesome. All right, so I was going to run through a couple of quick articles. And I guess I'll preface it by saying the Discord is going wonderfully. I'm very happy to see and very it's going well. I think it's a bit of growing adjustments for people. I know certainly for me. But I did I leave the data in the box below? Hopefully I did. I encourage anybody, Jerry Kids type thing. Join us over here in the Discord. It's really fun. Well, maybe not quite that style, but something like that, right? Because lots of people coming up with all kinds of good info. Aussie, please don't burn yourself out. I know you're working awful hard. And so it's really, really great to see. So I do, if I can do this. How do I do this? When we're working with Chrome. What? Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. So the Discord is going well. We've got 32 members now. Excellent. Super, super cool. And lots of people going over there and doing some great scrubbing. Or digging, not scrubbing, Seamus. Nobody's scrubbing. Well, of course they are scrubbing, right? We all know that. Now, Halifax Examiner had another great article come out tonight. Steve gave me the heads up on that. This guy over there, there's two of them that are working, really doing some amazing work. That would be Paul and I forget the other fellow's name. And they're doing awesome stuff. So let's run through the latest article. There was another one too. Actually, now I'm coming up with three. Share screen. Here we go. Share screen. Boom. So this is out of Halifax Examiner right now. Paul wrote the article. Somebody linked it in over at the Discord. The one that we've talked about with the kind of deep throat guy. This is Paul. Paul was former editor with the Globe and Mail, and he's very good. StreamYard is sharing screen. Yeah, shut it. Thank you. Okay. I know I'm dumb, but I'm glad that you could tell me it's sharing screen. I'm looking at it at the other screen. RCMP's rural policing is ongoing disaster, says Colchester County councillors. This is much different than, who was it that they interviewed at the very beginning there? Larry? No, not Tagliano. Tagliano, I think was his name. Anyways, no, it's very, very different. Taggart, that was it. Taggart got interviewed right away. Oh, and he was kind of, this is all good over here, and I don't know Gabriel Wortman, and oh no, not so. The RCMP's rural policing strategy has been for many years an ongoing disaster and a danger to the public in Colchester County, say two municipal councillors with law enforcement backgrounds. I was really shocked when I read some of this. Unbelievable. Most of the victims killed in the Nova Scotia massacre April 1819 lived in Colchester County, the majority of them at Portapique at the south end of the roughly 3,800 square kilometer county. Others were killed in Wentworth and northwest portion of the county. The final three, and I'm not using that tone to belittle them, I'm just kind of trying to zip read here. The final three killings, including RCMP Heidi Stevenson, took place in Shubenacadie, just south of the county. Interesting wording he's using there, by the way, if you notice that. The final three killings in Shubenacadie. Man, it's not ascribing it to anybody. I think this is all going to start rolling out, really start pouring out here, and the RCMP are in the shit. Quote, I know for a fact we are not getting the proper policing that we are paying for, and this, in turn, has left the community very vulnerable, says Wade Parker in an interview with the Halifax Examiner. Parker, a former corrections supervisor, so he's familiar with law enforcement to an extent, is a counselor for the municipality of the District of Colchester and chairman of the Police Advisory Board. Kind of a heavy hitter on this one. Yes, 3 books on the RCMP. Very knowledgeable. Thank you, Yessie. And thanks, Steve, for giving me the heads up. It was great. He's in here right now. He's doing fun things with the kids. One of these days, I tell you, it's all gonna come together. But God has ways of working things, right? So we can get Steve and we can get everybody. Maybe Cage will come back. Wouldn't that be nice? His comments were supported by Michael Gregory, who spent 25 and a half years in the RCMP. Well, he probably knows, where he worked in various capacities from highway patrol, the force's drug section, and criminal investigations. Gregory's final assignment before retirement as Staff Sergeant Commander at the Okay, here we go. Somebody's going to make a video of this, of me trying to say this. Tatamagouche? I think I might actually have got that. Tatamagouche? Gouche? Nova Scotia Detachment. As an elected representative, Gregory is also a member of the Police Advisory Board and a separate entity overseeing the RCMP contract. See, these things are things that we don't often think of. These are contracts that they have. Our local municipal governments are paying the federal government for this crap that they're giving us. Quote, over the past several years, the RCMP policing has gone completely downhill, said Gregory in an interview. It's pretty sad. Wow. Pretty damning words. One of the major problems both men see is the force's practice of providing services during a defined window. In Colchester County, that means there are no scheduled RCMP services between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. Officers are on call. Huh? You don't have any police officers. This is probably why they have the fucking cat rolling around on the ground. Unbelievable. Tug on my goosh. Tug on my goosh? Okay. I think are you making fun of me? Ozzy? That's not fair. Quote, to me, we need 24-hour policing. Really? We live in Canada. Next, they're going to be saying, drinking water might be a good thing to have. To me, we need 24-hour policing, Gregory said. This is the man with the RCMP. Quote, the world is changing all the time. In today's society, most things don't happen between the hours of 9 to 5. There is a 4-hour time frame where there are no police. That's when things are happening. It's wild out there. Really? Really? You're saying? You don't say. What news? Another expert who has problems with the RCMP approach is former Cape Breton chief Edgar McLeod. Quote, at 4 a.m. in the morning in many of these rural communities policed by the RCMP, it's like the wild, wild west out there. McLeod said. Well, we're missing that word, but we won't be an English Nazi today. Today. I will be, though. Quote, there has to be police presence. It's that simple. Both Gregory and Parker outlined a litany of problems with the force's policing methods, including not only poor response times, but often no response at all to public calls from the public. Unbelievable. You pay for this. You pay for this. If I was a criminal down there, you know, I might happen to do crime at a certain time, don't you think? When the police aren't working? Like, can you imagine that? Quote, I live behind the NSLC, government liquor store, in Tugamagoosh, Tatamagoosh, Togonmygoosh. I don't know. I was going to say something dirty, but I won't. Gregory said, quote, I've heard on the grapevine. This is, again, I believe, the police officer. Is that right? RCMP man? Quote, I heard on the grapevine that the liquor store has been broken into 3 weeks earlier. I haven't even heard about it. So I called the RCMP in where? Bible Hill. Remember Bible Hill? Bible Hill. Oh, Mr. Wortman in Bible Hill. Wortman Sr. in Bible Hill. They don't like to do anything in Bible Hill. The local detachment outside of Truro, and asked what Mounties had done. I said, quote, nobody has knocked on my door. People around me heard nothing about it. The Mountie told me that the force doesn't make neighborhood inquiries anymore. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You know, it's funny that this comes up. I was talking to Steve about this, about a break-in I had when I was out in Winnipeg one time. And they're just like, yeah, come on down to the station. We don't deal with anything. And by the way, your stuff is basically gone. So you're filling out useless paperwork. When I got there, I'm like, okay, thanks for wasting my time. Glad you're working hard. In their assessment of the decline of the RCMP, each man separately painted a picture of a secretive. Why do we keep hearing this word? Why do we keep encountering this? All the people in the investigating room, all the ones that are in here right now that are doing the investigating. No, secretive, unaccountable organization that seems to have lost touch with the basic requirements of its mandate to protect the public interest and enforce laws. Really, if it's contract and you're not fulfilling the basic requirements of your mandate, that means fired in the real world. Yet, what was that other article? Maybe I'll see if I can dig that one up about the bells and whistles and all these fun toys that they have. They're fuck aroundness. Hey, Zodiac, how's it going? The thing with the RCMP, the thing the RCMP used to emphasize was its commitment to community policing, Gregory says. When I was a commander in Tatamagoosh, I lived in the community. I knew everyone and everyone knew me. We've been talking about that, you know, policemen get in the community. They know each other. Back from the fucking 20s, 30s in New York City, big, huge metropolis. And they're like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so on the block. I know so-and-so. Oh yeah, I know that policeman. Hey, how's it going, officer so-and-so? No, not these days. Now they're just into playing around on fucking quads and how many blacked out vehicles they can have and ghost cars. Down there in Nova Scotia, frankly, the kinds of ghost cars that you've got, I mean, they're running around in buckets and all kinds of weird things, minivans. And I mean, what is going on down there that they need all these ghost cars and fucking helicopters and bullshit? I mean, it's not that dangerous of a place. I didn't think. Lots of drugs, I'm now learning, but seems like more danger from the police than anything. Nowadays, in many rural communities near major cities, the RCMP switched to what can be best described as commuter policing. Instead of the traditional notion of workers traveling from to their jobs in the city, many Mounties do the reverse. They live in or near the cities and commute to their jobs in the country. How much do they get paid? You know, $140,000 a year? $140,000 a year. Some of them are getting paid more than that. More than that. What does Lucky get paid? Who knows what she gets paid? Plus, they get their benefits. Plus, they get awesome retirement program here and huge support, all kinds of support and balls. I mean, and what do? You're not even in the community. Nobody knows your name. Oh, we'll respond if we want to. Oh yeah, we're not working right now. By the way, I'm just on call right now. Let's go and have a party. Quote, the police are the public and the public are the police, Gregory said Gregory, quoting Sir Robert Peel, the founder of modern policing. Somebody interesting quoted that today, a fellow who's running, I believe Steve knows more about him. I probably shouldn't say anything. Quote, when I lived in the community, I prided myself that I knew everyone in the community. It paid off for me. Now, that's all gone. Councillor Parker added, quote, the RCMP got away from community policing and instead of having officers rooted in the community, they're everywhere. I don't know where the police live or where they have come from to get here. And when they do get here to do their job, they don't know the people in the area very well. The people don't know them. They don't know who's a criminal and who isn't. Oh, good. So this is probably why you're getting, people getting beaten up and all kinds of cert claims and shit, because they're just running around with like their ass. They've got their head up their ass. These people. If they know someone, they can get up to $250,000 a year. Are you serious? $250,000 for what? I don't think you barely need a high school education anymore to be a police officer. And that's true. That's true. It's not to be insulting. Lots of them do go on and get criminology stuff and interesting things. But listen, I mean, we're not talking about rocket science here. We're talking about the guys who have to memorize a few codes, and that's about all. And this business about fucking heroes. You put on the uniform, you're a hero. Now you work at a grocery store, you're a hero. Huh? Heroes are made by their actions, not where you work. Unbelievable. The Mounties, that Mounties are commuting to their posts in rural areas like Colchester only compounds upon the problem. Quote, so they're on call. In the middle of the night, a call comes to the Mountie at home. Quote, how long does it take for them to respond when they don't live in the communities they are policing, Parker asked, adding, I had nothing against the people doing their jobs. They lay their lives on the line. It's not their fault. The problem is higher up. Really? There are lots of good police officers. Again, you have to do the normal, yeah, but I like so-and-so from such and such a community, and they do. No. We're talking about, let's be real here. I'm going to call a spade a spade. You can shit all over people, and if people know you, they know that you're not dumping on everybody. Then police working in the detachment. I don't like the RCMP model of policing. But perhaps the two most important issues facing Colchester, and for that matter, many communities with the RCMP contracts across the country, is understaffing and accountability. Frankly, I'm beg to differ on that one. I beg to differ on that. They've got so much bureaucracy and mess of upper level management. They almost have more people who work on the top, pushing papers and doing nonsense, and different committees and all this crap. They showed a picture of a committee somewhere. I don't know where that was. I was looking at today, and you can see they're just clowning around. Like, honestly, Why do they have this? No, if you're going to do a job, you do a job, you work. Yeah, you can have a little bit of fun. But I mean, it's not about let's set up more work, fake work programs, make work programs. And that's what they do. They figured this one out, and they become a complete bureaucratic boondoggle. That the RCMP is understaffed across the country is no secret. It is an issue in Surrey, BC, much of that, the rest of the province, Red Deer, Alberta, Moncton, New Brunswick, and, oh, surprise, surprise, Colchester. Colchester County is paying for 28 Mounties. But the local council has no way to hold the RCMP accountable for those numbers. Why? They've signed a contract. Is it not? Who's employing them? Who's employing these people? Colchester County's employing them. This is where the fucked up mentality goes. The RCMP really don't understand who employs them. Just like our government doesn't understand who employs them. That would be us. And if we're pissed with you, you're fired. Get out. At one point, Parker said he learned that the detachment was short about 5 or 6 members, or about 25%. Quote, we couldn't get the real numbers, he said. We tried our best, but the RCMP won't answer to anything. Surprise, surprise. That's an ongoing investigation. Like, whatever excuses they pull out of their ass. Now we're going to do a psychological autopsy, so we can't talk about anything. That's the latest one. Oh my God, a psychological autopsy? Get out of here. The guy was a loon and you guys fucked up. That's what we're really talking about. You know, there may be quite a bit going on in the background more than that, which I'm sure there is. But really at the surface level, that's what we're talking about, right? And no, we're just going to do a psychological autopsy. I think you should be doing a psychological autopsy on themselves. Lately, he said, the numbers may have gone back to normal. Quote, but I can't be sure of that either. We don't know. We don't know. The people who are paying for that contract, the people who are paying for this contract, and they don't know what they're getting. But they've got all the toys, you know, they've got the bling. They've got bling all over the place. Yeah, fucking bling, RCs. Running around with all kinds of toys, blacked out vehicles, you know, fucking scooters, mopeds. I don't know what the hell they've got going on there. All kinds of stuff. Toys. Latest gear, all running around with semi-automatic rifles in their cars now because of the Moncton situation, right? So then they're like, oh, we need more guns. No. What you need to do is learn how to use your guns, and you need to learn how to do policing, community policing, things like that. Work together. And Portapic is just an absolute disaster when you start cutting it apart. Absolute disaster. These people had no idea what they were doing, who they were shooting at each other, probably killing each other, if we're really being honest, and civilians. And no one in the Ministry of Justice will tell us. Then he added, quote, nobody over the government will tell them either. So the RCMP is not answering them. The Ministry of Justice isn't answering them. This seems like a really bad employee, frankly. And I hope other people in the municipalities take note of this. Burnaby, Surrey, North Van, West Van, I believe all have, those are the ones that come to mind. Of course, tons of Saskatchewan. This police force is ginormous, to use that terrible word. But it's absolutely huge. And of course, most of it is this crap at the top who just sit around and push papers and collect gigantic paychecks and do nothing. Meanwhile, the people on the ground, they aren't living in the community. They're working on call. Unbelievable. Fired if you worked for me, fired. And yes, I was an employer at one time. I still actually am technically. Then he added, quote, I heard that before the shootings, they might have gone down again, but who knows? Yeah, I don't know. These concerns and questions are not new. 3 years ago, Gregory and Parker raised the issues with their fellow counselors. They knew that the current contract was worth almost $6 million per year with the RCMP, would be expiring within a year, and they were looking for alternatives. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. If you have a bad employee, fired, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. If you can't do the job, this is the way the real world works, you're out. And that is an incentivization to really improve things. Pick up your socks. In January, by the nearby Truro police municipal force was asked to put in a proposal to the police the entire county. Within a month of being asked, the Truro police made a proposal that included 24-hour policing. Wow. That's novel. Staffed sub-detachments and more police on the ground. What? Oh, for less money. And this isn't about money. This is about safety, truly. But I mean, 24-hour policing? God, any criminal who figures this article out now is probably just going to go down to Nova Scotia and be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to commit crime between, 2 and 6. That's a good time. Good time. Dan C2. Awesome. Did we have a new joiner in the 32, 35, 36. 4 more people. Yay. Welcome, 4 people. Sorry, I didn't see who all it was. The RCMP was asked to make a similar proposal, but hasn't yet. Do they want the job or do they not want the job? They haven't even decided what they're going to do. Oh, but don't worry. We're doing a psychological autopsy. A potential complication is that the new RCMP union will come into being in the new future. Oh, no. Oh, no. Union. Good. Welcome to Communist Canada. Quote, when the time comes, I just want to be able to compare apples to apples, Parker said. Quote, but the Department of Justice was supposed to come back to us with their model in March or April. Now they're telling us it's going to be another 20 weeks. This is them who can't get anything done. They can't abide by a legal order from a judge. Please come. And this is not because they're that. I don't want that to be saying that, oh, it's just because they're sitting around on their fingers. Why they're saying, oh, we can't come back with the search warrants and we're having difficulties with that. No, that's because they are trying to hide all of their negligence all over the place. Hey, little Miss O, how's it going? They're trying, and Mr. Money Penny Krista, they're trying to hide their negligence. That's why they're taking so long with the warrants. And so it's not a fact of their laziness, but the laziness clearly is ringing through here too. 20 weeks. And we're now into, what are we at? End of May. And it was supposed to be due 2 months ago. Your homework's late. Your homework's really late. We need to know soon as possible. The RCMP is now 90th on the pay scales in Canada for police. With the union, we can expect they want to raise that we can't afford $7 or $8 million for non-24-hour policing. Welcome crime. 2 to 6. 2 to 6. Crime zone. Crime time. The eagerness of the Truro force to take over the RCMP's role in Colchester County also raises another serious question. It has been widely reported that the RCMP did not contact nearby Truro on the weekend of April 18th and 19th or ask for assistance. We saw that article. where they, no, it wasn't that they didn't contact. They specifically said, we don't want you. To Truro, there was 2 or 3 forces that they said, we don't want any help. And then to Halifax, because they needed to keep it in-house because of the problem. They had to hide everything. And so if you start bringing in outside forces, you're going to start getting loose lips, sinking ships. So they were like, well, you know what? We'll just bring in police forces from, 330 kilometers away over in New Brunswick. We'll just, you're on call, aren't you? In fact, the shooter drove his fake RCMP down Main Street in Truro in mid-morning. Did the police not contact Truro because of corporate hurt feelings over perceived intrusion into their business? Quote, I sure hope that isn't the case, Parker said. Only a public inquiry will bring that out. Now, so that's that article. Excellent. Oh, let's see. Sorry. Both federal and provincial governments have balked at calling an inquiry, arguing that there is no money left for such an exercise after the impact of COVID-19 shutdown on finances. Oh, I'm not even going to start with COVID-19. Not even going to start. I was out volunteering today. I had to have a mask. They gave me a mask. Now, I appreciate, I did wear it, of course, because it's dealing with elderly people, so I did. But, I mean, we've got to start being a little bit more honest about the COVID schmovid. Nonsense. Nonsense. Old people, not nonsense. But it's not killing anybody, even the old people. It's just other crap killing them. And a lot of people are making a lot of money. Lots of people making lots of money, but that's not even what that's about. Nova Scotia's Justice Minister, Mark Furey, has all but stayed out of the discussion. Premier Stephen McNeil has indicated that he sees no problem with Furey handling the RCMP file. So Premier McNeil says, I have no problem with the fact that somebody else isn't dealing with anything. However, there might be a clue as to how Furey thinks in 2017 news story published by Global News, Tatamagouche Councillor, okay, I haven't read that one yet, about Councillor Gregory's nascent attempt at overturning the current RCMP contract with Colchester County. Reporter Natasha Pace, good luck with that if they unionize. Have fun. Have fun with that. Frankly, anybody who has a municipality at this point should consider firing a lot of them, all of them. If you want to unionize, piss off. We're not going to pay anybody's wages. Let's see how people do with that. Maybe they can be frontline workers in the grocery store, right? Heroes, frontline heroes, because they can just take their hero job from wearing a uniform to their hero job packing bags. Reporter Natasha Pace interviewed Furey, said, quote, we're certainly familiar with the police service delivery model in rural Nova Scotia. It's a model that is applied right across Canada outside of our urban center, and it's certainly a challenge to have police presences 24/7. Has Furey changed his mind on whether the RCMP model can be applied unilaterally across rural Canada in every county? In every country. Sorry, in every country. I don't think that's what we're looking for. County, possibly. Wade Parker does not seem to think so. Quote, our constituents deserve to know whether they will have proper policing in place for our municipality. What news? We need to know whether we should stick with the RCMP or if there is a better model. If there is, so be it, he said. Quote, this is the hardest thing I've ever done on council, the most frustrating 3 years of my life. I'm sure he's probably had a frustrating life. Most people do. It's so hard to get information. What news? RCMP and information. There we go. There's a new oxymoron. RCMP information. RCMP intelligence. This process needs to be resolved once and for all. Right now, I don't feel we have the safest policing because of that. Really? Really? So excellent article once again by Paul. This guy is really good. He came out with the Deep Throat article also. Let's see if we can find that. Somebody put that in the group. So anybody who hadn't seen this one before, very good. RCMP, Secret Army of Smurfs. Here we go. This one, cracks forming. Very good, because somebody they're trying to leak information. There's all kinds of officers in this article. Awesome. Super archived. I've archived it like 15 times now or something ridiculous, because I absolutely do not want to see this article disappear. I should probably take it. This is Tim Bousquet. This guy is also awesome. Okay, the other thing I wanted to run through was the let's see. I have to log in over here to the secret. I don't know if I should be even reading this. Well, I think I can read it because it is just his will, right? Gabriel Wortman will. What news? He had a will. And there's another company in it, a new company. Where is it here? Home. Grimmer to home. Get bent. These guys write awesome. Interesting. With a very unique style. Okay. Am I going to get in trouble? Please, Frank. This is fair use. I'm not trying to do anything bad. Anybody should subscribe to Frank. I do. That's why I'm watching it and sharing it, but hopefully that won't get me in trouble. Last will and testament of a killer. A will purportedly handwritten by Gabriel Wortman 9 years before he committed the worst mass murder in Canadian history requests that his body, neither cremated nor embalmed, be wrapped in a Hudson Bay blanket and placed in a concrete vault buried at Portapique Cemetery. He also wishes there to be no obituary service or public notice requests that will almost certainly come true. The document dated March 29th, 2011, obtained by Frank Magazine, bequeaths his entire estate to, quote, my dear friend and female companion and executrix. Okay, we'll skip over who that was because I don't want to dox that person. So that person is the person that was hiding out in the woods. Police emerging first light. Whatever becomes of Gabriel's estate, the will, certified April 29th by Weldon McInnes legalist Paul Rumscheit, I don't know, whatever. Something. Will hardly be the last word. Just 2 weeks after the rampage, the first legal volley against the estate was lobbed in the form of a proposed class action lawsuit on behalf of families of Wortman's victims. A member of the bar for 29 years, lawyer Peter, a partner at Cox and Palmer, I've had contact with them, refused to comment when they reached by phone Thursday. Quote, my clients are not speaking to the media, he said. He, of course, would not identify his clients. Witnessed by, okay, we'll skip by that because I don't want to say who it is. A teacher, okay. Okay, so the interesting thing here, we'll just go down and we'll also go past who it is again, and that is this one, I thought. Northumberland Investments. Northumberland Investments. And I did some looking for Northumberland Investments, and I couldn't seem to find anything. But that's going to go into the list of stuff over on companies right here. Oh, wow, I haven't dropped anything in here. Okay, I have lots that I need to share. So Northumberland Investments Limited, which does seem to be out of Nova Scotia, and there seems to be very, very little on it. So there's a lot of companies tied around Mr. Wortman, Mr. Wortman's ex, He has 3 companies, I believe. The second dental clinic, the one in the strip mall, is registered to a company he's not even involved in, out of New Brunswick. And now we've got this Northumberland Investments Limited. So, to believe that this guy is just a denturist, no. Something else is going on there. Lots of money. Cremation. What the fuck? He's on a beach in Cuba. Well, I'll laugh. It's funny. Halifax Examiner doing a great job. Absolutely, Zodiac. Totally. Remember the drive-through Portapic community posted by someone? Didn't they show the remains of one of Wortman's properties right on the bay? Do I remember seeing a boathouse? Perfect for moving. Yes, he did have a small boathouse. Let's see. Actually, I think I might even have the video of that. That was over on that other channel. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe somebody in here does remember the name. The guy who drove around Nova Scotia. He's from Nova Scotia. He kind of put some videos out of him driving around different areas. Let's see. And he did do the one of, is this sorted by date? Sort by date. Okay, so it should be down towards the bottom somewhere. Pants. The pants, the RCMP pants, which weren't really pants. Okay, so here's what the back of that looks like. Has a nice, beautiful, nice deck on the river, which is part of the Bay of Fundy, I believe. I'm learning stuff down there. Very, very beautiful area of the country, and I'm ashamed to admit I've never been. So I'm definitely going to get down there one time. Probably if this Kovu stuff was not going on, I would be down there now. Michael Schwab or something. It has a number. Section 6. Does that ring a bell? Section 6. Anybody know? If it's Section 6, let's just have a quick look and see. Section 6. Section 6. A comment on Slippin' video today, and of course they banned that. He's like, I don't know what you said, man. Channel. Is this it? I think this might be it. Oh no, that's definitely not it. Something like Section 6. It has a number in it, I remember. Crit, what's up, buddy? Totally missed Crit's live stream yesterday because YouTube, awesome YouTube, and the notification nonsense, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to tell you a day later. Jesus, man. Just pops up on my phone. Crit is live streaming. Really? That was like Adrian's video when it came out. Let's see if I can find that picture of that and show that. Because now my camera's working for now. When Adrian did the video about some time ago, not that long ago, here it is. Seriously, the RCMP, this is what popped up when I went on it, and it came up in my notifications. It's blurry because of my shakiness, but it came up in my notifications. Adrian is now live. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then it said 6 months ago. And I'm like, pardon? Like, and it wasn't. I don't know how this came up like this, because this was, he did the other, like, what, 2 weeks ago? And they said that it was 6 months ago. I'm like, no, I don't think it was 6 months ago. I think he just did that. YouTube head up their ass over there. Just uploading latest one. Oh, awesome. Okay, so we're going to have to check out Crit's latest stuff over there. It deepens me how much skullduggery the person did for their mob just to clean up with too many dead. Looks like completely professional killings with more than one shooter, military style. I'm not going to weigh in on that one, but there seems to be a lot of funny business. Remember, I keep going on about the silver trap. Well, I keep going on about a lot of things. I'm paid by the hour. It runs in my blood, you know. No, I'm not. But it does run in my blood. You might as well talk a long time because you're going to get paid more. No, I'm totally teasing. My family didn't do that kind of stuff. But lawyers. Yeah. I totally lost what I was going to say there. Has everyone found Discord easy to use? It's not that, you know, listen, it's ever evolving. This whole process is always evolving. What you learn, where you're at, where you go, ever evolving. So we'll adapt. That's the way we are. We're good adapters. Let's go back here a little bit and check out some of your comments. Halifax Examiner doing awesome job. Absolutely. Right on there, Zodiac. Mark Fury dragged my drunken ass into the front step back in '89. Oh, there you go. See, you know, it's always good. You have these little stories and these little nuggets, you know, you can share with one another and happy memories to reminisce. Maybe not so happy sometimes, but looking back at all these things, we can kind of laugh, right? I just fixed a convertible top on my brand new sports car. Brand new. Plate red a union. Unions. Yeah, I bet it fell down with a knife. What kind of top or convertible did you get there, little Miss So? Congratulations. Big congratulations. Truro, yeah, the Truro, Elwood Clinton. There's going to be some stuff. I'm really looking forward to finding out some more information that I'm kind of become aware of just in the recent past. But I won't share any more than that right now until I can dig through it a little bit more. But very, very, very interesting. Anybody else not getting live stream notifications? Almost like I don't need to hear what LGC's got to say. Well, probably. Who the hell needs to hear what I have to say? No, I just my mother doesn't listen to me anymore. Bill Morneau's cousin. I researched that Bill Morneau's cousin stuff about Lucky. I don't think so. I couldn't find any real verification. But then again, the genealogy trees and stuff like that absolutely dead end. So it's possible, but I don't think so. However, we all know the trough that all of these bureaucrats feed out of, right? So, yes, I got my camera working temporarily. Something in there is not happy. I think I may have traced the problem to one certain browser, but we'll see if that's the case. Some other interesting stuff happened with Windows 365. Seemed to get downed. So I think something happened in my computer. In fact, I know something did, but I thought it was just restricted to kind of that one night. Tug on my gouch. Gouch? Tug on my gouch? 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 One day I'll get pronunciation and names. I'm not very good. Okay. So, why did Heidi not have a massive Canada-wide dedication to her service only when asked to wear red? It is significant. It is significant. I'm very curious to know why what's his last name? Begins with K. Chief out of Halifax. What is his name? Let this have a look here. Halifax Chief. I think it's Kincaid or something like that. Halifax Chief of Police. I suppose that's helpful, right? I have that song in my head now. Kinsella. Daniel Kinsella. Dan Kinsella. He seems to have something with the RCMP. There's something going on, a little bit of abrasion, because Heidi Stevenson was a, what did they call them? Integrated officer, I think. Integrated officer with the Halifax PD. So she did some of her work actually out of Halifax. And when it came to the Wear the Red stuff, apparently the Halifax PD told their members, no, there'll be no wearing red. Why? It's one of their members. Very interesting. And also then you got that other article with Halifax Examiner. Where was that? HPD. Let's see if they come up with anything on that. Let's try Kinsella. Wear red. Let's try that. Wear red. Well, thanks. That's a fucking awesome narrowing down. Anyways, he didn't allow his members to wear red, which is really interesting. And then they got ordered to, they had all these orders coming from the RCMP about, oh yeah, they sue the tar out of them, Tommy, all the time. I was reading a very sad article, frankly, today about a woman who committed suicide, RCMP member who blew the whistle, and she killed herself. Very tragic. RCMP whistleblower on sexual harassment, sexual suicide. Let's try that. End of watch, former RCMP officer who fought harassment dies by suicide. I mean, that's just tragic. She killed herself in her backyard in her, quote, special place. And we also have, who is the press guy right now? No, what is his name? His ex-wife. I did the Campbell, Darren Campbell. I did the video on that there a few days ago. Darren Campbell, RCMP, ex-wife. Sexual harassment. Here's his son. Hell, is this it? The son who got convicted of murder? Yep. One of 3 men charged in 2014 slaying of Vancouver teens has been identified as son of high-profile former Mountie who's suing RCMP over allegations of sexual harassment. Connor Campbell is the son, and it was quite a horrific murder. And the father is Darren Campbell, the man who does all the press conferences. Interesting. And his wife was the Catherine Galliford, who is the lady RCMP Corporal, British Columbia, known for making sexual harassment allegations against RCMP and being a high-profile police spokeswoman, woman, person, whatever, man, I don't know what you want to call it these days, gender binary two-spirit, for Missing Women's Task Force. And that's all of the piggy farm stuff. Pickford. So, you know, these connections, albeit sounding a little tinfoil, which I don't ever want to get too much into the tinfoil, because you can just stick with the negligence for this point in time. And that's what I'm digging at. See, here we go. Catherine Guilford has a son with her former husband, Darren Campbell, Sergeant Major. That needs to be updated because he is now superintendent. This information was released when the son, Connor Campbell, was arrested in 2015 along with two others for the murder of 19-year-old Langley resident Nicholas Hannon. Connor Campbell was convicted November 2016 and has called Galliford every day since his life sentence began. Galliford stated that the effects of PTSD, agoraphobia, prevented her from attending the sentencing. She later said that I carry some guilt, but after watching what I went through, I know that I developed a mistrust for the RCMP, but I think parents are parents, and I was a good parent, and I know that. And, you know, listen to this disgusting nonsense that the RCMP did to this lady. 1 month before the hearings began in 2012, the inquiry deemed Galliford, quote, too fragile to testify, citing alcoholism and post-traumatic stress disorder. Nice, because she was going to come out and testify in the commission, the piggy stuff, Picton, Willie the Piggy Man out there, and all the Aboriginal women. And she said that she would testify on behalf of these women and say that the RCMP completely fucked up, and that's why you had a lot of dead bodies. And look at the RCMP. Once again, just throw their own members under the bus. It's just protect. Pie plate time with these people. Crazy town. Drugs out of the evidence room. Yep, we've got that one. We have the 10 kilos. Let's look at that. I mean, that was just one. Who was that? I think Ozzy or Connie or somebody, or Tonya came up with that. I think Tonya did. 10 kilos missing RCMP being Nova Scotia officer accused, and he was sentenced. Accused of stealing and trafficking cocaine. Staff Sergeant Craig Burnett. Unbelievable. He's stealing coke. And you know, if he's getting busted for 10 kilos, he's been doing a lot more than that. He'd just take it from the evidence locker. Oops, I found this one. Oh, you know what? I'll just sell it. I'll sell it. I'll be a criminal. And he ran, which he ran a certain area. That was it. Before that, the Serious Incident Response Team, the provincial's independent police watchdog. Really, let's look at how independent CERT is. These are the people who are investigating all the mishaps down there. Felix Cachillon. Let's see what other people are in there. Let's see if it's very independent. Independence. CERT is independent of government and police. The director of CERT is civilian and responsible for the general direction of investigation. This ensues a much more transparent and independent way to investigate serious incidents involving police. So you have, what is it? 2 civilian investigators, each with 33 years of criminal investigation experience with the RCMP. What news? 2 full-time seconded police officers who only answer to the director when seconded, one from Halifax Regional Police, the other from RCMP. What news? How independent do you think this is? Sounds heavily weighted RCMP to me. Other than the director, Felix Cachillon, who I'm not sure what he's doing. But they only deal with things that cops are doing that are kind of no-nos. Let's see the list, the extensive list of things that are going on down in Nova Scotia. These are complaints against the RCMP and different police forces in Nova Scotia, a province of less than 1 million people. Look at this. Unbelievable. You got rapes in here, gang rapes, drug dealing, beating up people, thugs. These people are thugs with no kind of oversight, and, you know, people selling drugs out of the back of their car. Oh, I just found these keys. You know, doesn't matter to me. How much? 10 keys of cocaine. You know how much that's worth? 10 kilograms of cocaine missing. And I'm sure, you know, if you look at this other thing I spoke of before, you know, because I do such long streams, I understand lots of things I say. People don't get everything. Don Dunphy. Anybody familiar with Don Dunphy? Don Dunphy. Twitter. Let's try that. I like that. Don Dunphy. Okay. Tweet. How about killed? Officer who shot Don Dunphy was disciplined before. This is back in 2017. This is the Joe Smythe. Joe Smythe. He's a bit of a slime bucket, Joe Smythe. So Joe Smythe worked for the premier at the time of Newfoundland, and he was on the premier's private police force, kind of bodyguard. What's up there, Slippin'? I was talking about the comment today disappearing over on your video. Sad. Slippin', good stuff. Good guy. Good guy always to check out. Please go and sub. And Joe Smythe, well, he worked for the premier, and the premier got some tweets, quite a few tweets from Mr. Don Dunphy. Mr. Don Dunphy was somebody who was injured, I believe, in 1984 from a workplace accident, and good stuff of my slipping, brother. Don Dunphy injured in an accident, 1984, and he became quite vocal. He had a very good sense of humor. I actually quite appreciated his black sense of humor, and he would tweet people about the state of workers and poor people, and he was very impoverished, and but he did what he could to kind of educate people. Very interesting individual. And so he tweeted one day, the premier, and he said, what was the original tweet? It was something like sunlight in my eyes. The assistant to the premier and the premier were riding around in their whatever Escalade or whatever the fuck it was, and listening to sunlight in their eyes or something like this. And they tweeted that out. And Don Dunphy is like, why don't you put some shades on and take the earplugs out of your ears and start listening to the people? And he tweeted the second comment. There was a series of them. I think there were 4. And the one that kind of was a bit iffy was a comment where he mentioned that he knew of 2 members of parliament, I believe it was members of parliament, who were dead, and they were total shit. But he didn't want to mention their names because I should read the exact quote. But he didn't want to mention their names because he was concerned about their families, and maybe they had really nice families. And that was his tweet. So on Easter Sunday at dinner time, Well, Joe Smythe goes over to Mr. Don Dunphy's house and gets to talking about the tweet by himself. And he shoots Don Dunphy and kills him 4 times from extraordinarily close range. The top part of his head was basically missing. But that wasn't, the 3 body shots didn't kill him. Oh no, even though the coroner, of course, said absolutely he was dead. First body shot he took. No, Joe Smythe, gotta make sure. Sunshine of my life. Something like that. Sunlight in my eyes. It was sunlight in my eyes, I think it was. I don't know the song. It sounds like some trash some politician would listen to. And so Joe Smythe, there was a public inquiry held into Joe Smythe, who was part of the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, which is their provincial police. But of course, very good friends with the RCMP. And there was an investigation into Joe Smythe, who suddenly a gun appeared. And I'm going to say suddenly, even though they said the gun was there the whole time, it sounds like a bunch of hogwash to me, because everybody who knew him said he didn't have a gun. There was no fucking way he had a gun. And some of the stuff that some of the people who testified with, even they said, like, things have moved. The crime scene has changed in some of these photos. And Joe Smythe, of course, gets off. Well, Joe Smythe is in trouble again, and obviously he was in trouble, 2015? Let's see what it says about him just in this article. Testimony focused entirely around his 2015 incident where he shot and killed Donald Dunphy over a fucking tweet. And then the RCMP did the investigation, and the RCMP was contacting Joe Smythe, and I played some of the interviews. Unbelievable. If you guys aren't aware of this case, read it. And of course, then he got off because they were like, well, he had a gun. So a 36-inch rifle, bolt action gun, and the guy is like standing next to him. And he's like, well, yeah, I didn't see him pick up that gun, and so I just turned around and I just was like, bah, 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 bah. I'll shoot him 4 times and blow off the top of his head. Let's see here. Smythe was disciplined in 2005 following an incident which happened while he was on vacation in the British Virgin Isles, while he was, quote, very intoxicated and robbed, with one of his assailants holding a knife to his neck. Smythe chased down the muggers, threw things at them, inadvertently hitting cars instead. Yeah, okay, I do appreciate that you got robbed, but you're also drunk, and, you kind of have to take your... I've lost my wallet when I was really drunk. I've lost a lot of things, but when I was really drunk. But, you have nobody else to blame but yourself. You don't then go around driving in a foreign country drunk and hitting people. And so he got in a bunch of trouble, and he was suspended for 2 months without pay. Boo. But then he went and blew Mr. Don Dunphy away. Well, he's not out of trouble either, because he's back in trouble, I think. Again, let's see here. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. RNC officer Joe Smythe gets suspended sentence and probation. Oh, he's suspended. Is he still an officer still? Sentenced to a charge of obstructing justice. RNC officer who made headlines much of the last 4 years found out his legal fate Monday for obstructing justice. I thought he was to be upholding justice, but again, we're talking about somebody who shot somebody for a tweet. Constable Joe Smythe was given suspended sentence with years probation in provincial court in St. John's. It means Smythe will have a criminal record and will be resentenced if he reaches conditions, which include that he keep the peace, good behavior. Well, don't worry about that one. He just gets drunk and chases people down in their car or shoots them for tweets. Notify the court of any change of address. that he undergo counseling recommended by his probation officer. 40-year-old who sat with his wife looking tense showed no emotion. Probably, I bet you it's just reminiscent of him testifying in the, quote, public inquiry, which why I'm saying public inquiry is not going to work. They have to be sued. They have to be sued. The RCMP has to be sued by citizens. Good luck with the bureaucratic nonsense that is a public inquiry. And they softballed him. Please, I recommend go and check out little videos that CBC Newfoundland put together on Don Dunphy's case. They're unbelievable, the testimony. You had an RCMP guy up there who was not supposed to be talking to Smythe because they're investigating him, and he's like, oh, I just called him up to see how he was doing. I just had a little talk with him. And a month later, I put it in my logbook that I had a little talk with him. And no, I didn't get in really any trouble. And we didn't talk about anything. And it was just because he was a good human being thing to do. And then the lawyers like totally softballed him and was like, well, did you happen to contact Don Dunphy's family? Well, no, I didn't do that. Would you have contacted them? Would you have contacted Smythe if he wasn't a police officer? Probably no, I probably wouldn't. So it's safe to say then you contacted him because he was a police officer. Well, yeah, I guess. It's just crazy. You get, and they allowed that. But again, the person who ran the public inquiry, because it was into the RCMP again for investigating the RNC. So it wasn't just Don Dunphy, Don Dunphy's murder. It was the whole lot of it, investigating also into the RCMP's investigation into the RNC and Mr. Smythe. And the head of the public inquiry had some very interesting things to say about the RCMP. A long time, very well-respected judge. And he definitely kind of held back. He was doing a lot of holding back stuff. I have potential location where the tracker ended up. Yes, this is going to be interesting. The tracker. Goddamn tracker. The 40-year-old sat with his wife looking tense, showed no emotion, with Judge Mike Madden handed down the sentence. Smythe quietly left the courtroom and met with his lawyer, Jerome Kennedy, in the waiting room area before leaving. They turned down requests to speak to reporters. Surprise. Though that's smart advice any lawyer is going to say. Just don't talk to the press ever. Smythe was charged in relation to an incident that happened May 12th, 2017, when he stopped a motorcycle on Torbay Road in the capital city and issued the driver, Syed Husseini, 4 tickets, including one for running a red light. Footage from Husseini's GoPro camera revealed the light was actually green. The sentence was in keeping with what Kennedy asked for. Kennedy also said that a discharge may be appropriate. Really? So he's driving drunk around and damaging cars down in the British Isles. Then he shoots a guy over a tweet. Then he's giving tickets to people, which clearly, I'm assuming that he was doing this for a very long time, that he was giving tickets to people who honestly did not deserve to get tickets. That reminds me of another case where I saw somebody getting beaten by the cops because he was like, I didn't drive dangerously. I think he yelled something out at the RCMP down on the East Coast. He did a U-turn because they totally jammed up the road. And he's like, get that stuff off the road, please. You're totally blocking it up here. And they came to his house and beat him. Nice. In rendering his decision, Madden noted that Smythe's pre-sentencing report indicated he suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and insomnia, which have worsened since the court proceedings began, according to the doctor. The doctor noted, this would be, I'm sure, the doctor hired by the defense. The doctor noted that the PTSD was a result of an inquiry which had been held to examine what happened Easter Sunday 2015 when Smythe shot and killed Don Dunphy at Don Dunphy's home in Mitchell Brook. Smythe, who was a member of the Premier Paul Davis security team, was checking into a concerning tweet about Dunphy. And you can read the tweets. They're not concerning at all. In fact, everybody who had regular contact with negative contact with Don Dunphy, i.e. the WCB, he was very pissed with the WCB, etc., said, no, this guy, that nothing he was saying was threatening, including the premier, I believe, said, no. Of course, he was distancing himself for it. Who gave the order? I mean, dispatch somebody just to go and over a tweet. That's fucking crazy, man. This is the world we live in. Was checking into concerning tweet by Dunphy and was later cleared of wrongdoing, but was the subject of public scrutiny. Quote, I do believe, as he says, his world has been turned upside down. No doubt. I think this is a case of like O.J. Simpson type stuff. You know, you get shitty stuff that comes down the pike. You may get off, but it's coming back at you. The judge also noted the testimony of Smythe's psychiatrist, who said Smythe went back to work too soon after the inquiry and without her knowledge. Smythe, who is married with 2 young children, has been an RNC officer since 2001 and has been suspended without pay since last year. He's facing a loss of his career and pension. During the sentencing hearing, Strickland noted it was Highway Traffic Act case in which Husseini was not at risk of, quote, losing his liberty. Madden agreed and said the suspended sentence with probation was appropriate, but the case won't end there, as Kennedy has already informed the judge that he has already appealed the guilty verdict. Arguments in the appeal are scheduled to be heard June 21st in Newfoundland Labrador Court of Appeal. The courtroom wasn't too crowded with police officers as it had been during the trial. Dunphy's daughter Megan and his brother Bart Dunphy were there, as they have been through the entire proceedings. They opted not to be interviewed. Now, I don't wish ill will upon anybody, but honestly, this person should not be a police officer. This person should not have a firearm. This person should not be... Yeah, they've got issues. And still, what is it? May be suspended. Maybe whatever they call it, fired over there. They don't fire police officers very often. I talked about that before. Here in Calgary, we had a really horrific case of a young woman who clearly had a very, very traumatic life, had been subject of human trafficking, lots of drugs, and prostituted. Very sad, very, very sad. And she tried to kill herself. And the officer who responded, just to give her, all he was supposed to do was to give her follow-up information of places that she could contact for support. Well, he tried to turn her out, basically. Disgusting. For himself. Tried to use her. A woman who killed her, almost killed herself. Young woman. And, frankly, I don't think that he would have got fired. And when I was reading into the, if it hadn't come to public knowledge, because the staff at the hospital found her phone and all these texts that he was sending her. And she was terrified. She didn't know what to do. And she did go out with him. for, quote, ice cream. And he heard on his scanner that the police were waiting at her house. So I guess he had a scanner. I don't know how he had one, off duty. But anyway, he heard that on his scanner, and he's like, oh, I'll drop you around the block because they're waiting for me there. Dur, 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 dur. Very, very, very disgusting. Very sad. And even you know, the chief, because it's up to the chief or in that class to fire a police officer. It's very difficult to do, unionized, of course. And they don't do it. They honestly don't do it. Like, I think I read somewhere that was the second time, though I have found conflicting information that has happened in Calgary police history. Very, very, very sad. East Haunt School near EHS Milford. Is this the exit 9? The infamous exit 9, Highway 2, Mr. Moneypenny? Very curious about that, because that seems to be south of the Shube, right? So if we're following the logic here, if that is in fact the case, that would mean Mr. Wortman drove south, then he drove back north, then he had all the fiery nonsense and tracker incident at the Shube turnoff. Then he goes over to Gina Goulet's house to go south again. No, he doesn't have time. He only has 20 minutes. So, absolute horseshit. Think you may need to stop soon if you know what I mean. All right. So, great to see everybody. I guess you saw me because the camera's working, I think. And thank you very much for joining me. God bless you all and take good care, okay? It all changes with ourselves and how we are with other people. Please, please, once again, I will encourage you to come and join us over in the Discord. I will drop the link in right now. What happened here? All of a sudden, there's nobody. Oh, here we go. I don't know how to use this damn stuff. Let's see here. Invite people. Here we go. Bang. So please come and join us, because we can need all the help that we can get. Again, I really would say, please, it would be good to steer clear of the tinfoily stuff at this point in time, just because you can prove their negligence. And that's what the purpose is at this point in time. We can get into the tinfoily stuff as this goes along, once the RCMP have been sued by the people, which is where I want to go. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. God bless.